Hey guys, we're going to be wrapping up how we set up direct messages and group messaging. Now, the first thing we're going to work on is the naming of the actual direct message channels, because right now I just have it hard coded as hello, but how it works in Slack is the person you're editing or messaging, and if it's multiple people, each one of them, you see their names here. So what we're going to do is take our members list, ignoring ourselves. So maybe we keep const original members list is equal to members, or maybe we just say, you know what, const all members is equal to ... members, and then add our user ID at the end. So now anywhere we're using members, we really should be using all members. And come down here, all members. And now hopefully we're not using members anywhere else. Okay, we're using it down here. Use all members. And we're good. So now here what I can do is I can get const usernames. We're just going to grab all the users basically. And we're going to say await models.user.findAll. And here we just want to find all the usernames associated with our members, because that is just an array of user IDs. So I'm going to make this a raw query, and then we're going to say where, and we're going to say user ID, and we're going to say this over here. So we're going to use the in operator, and we're going to be doing op.in because that's how SQLize wants us to use it now. So we're going to be finding all the user IDs that are in our list. So we're going to say models.SQLize.op.in, and then our members list. So give that a save. So then what would be returned is a list of our users that match that are inside of here. So with that, what we want to do is create the name. So how we want to do that is just do a join statement. So we're going to say users.map u.username. So we really just care about the usernames. So we now have a list of strings which we can call a join on, and just add commas in between. And then that's the name we'll use. So let's see this in action now. Oops. We'll let this refresh while the server is cool. So I'm going to invite just Bob to start messaging. Column user.userid does not exist. Oh, right. User ID, it's just called ID on the user. Alright, let's try this again. Okay, so Bob2. Oops, I clicked out for, there we go. Now we don't have it automatically putting it there, that's the next thing. So nice, I see Bob show up here. I think hello is our channel that has both users in, so I don't think adding both users like that does anything. But let's create a new user real quick so we can make sure group naming works. So I'm going to register a new user, and he's going to be Bob4. And I'll invite him to my team. And now I can select all of them, say start messaging, refresh, and nice. Now I see my group with Bob 2, 3, and 4. So next what we're going to do is, while we have the resolver up, let's make sure we are actually authenticated before we do stuff in our method. So we are authenticated, or we have a token, but let's make sure we actually are a member of the team. So here what we're doing is we're, before we create a channel, we're finding the member and making sure they are an admin. Now we don't have to know if they're an admin, but we do need to grab one of the members. So let's copy that, paste it up here. Oops. So we'll have the team ID here, user ID here. And we're going to say if not member, throw new error. We'll just say not authorized. So if someone's trying to access this mutation and they are not a member of the team, meaning we've checked the team ID and the user ID, their member status, and it's not there, they're trying to do something fishy, we're just going to throw an error for them. So now we're protected. Let's make sure this doesn't break any messaging capability or creating the messages. Oops. So who haven't I messaged with? Bob4 I haven't. So let's just talk to Bob4. Cool, Bob4 shows up good. So awesome. So now it's annoying that I have to keep refreshing the page, right? Every time to see these pop up. We don't have to refresh. What we can do is we can actually update the cache. So in our direct message modal now, we have our mutation, and we can do a update query. So just like how we're doing it for our other modal, not our invite people, but our channel one. Where's that? Here we go. We're going to use this update. Copy. Now we're not going to be using optimistic UI because we actually don't know the ID of the channel always. So that'll cause a problem, or the username too. So with this, ours is not called create channel. This is where you want the name of the of your mutation. Us, it's called get or create channel. And then from get or create channel, this should be an integer. But I think I've changed my mind about how to do this, and the reason for that is I not only need the channel ID, but I also need the channel name. That way I can push on the name and the ID over here. So ID and name. So we need to change our backend to support this, but we'll fix that in a second. Because right now we're only returning the ID. So this me query, what is that? That is, we already have this query in our team, so we can just copy that, paste it in here. And find index is from Lodash. Import find index from Lodash/find index. Oops. Okay. So we're finding the current, data.me.teams. So we're finding the current channel, or the current team, I mean. We're grabbing the current team, and now for us, we don't know whether we created the channel or we got the team. So the way we're going to do this is we're just going to check if the ID is already in here. So we're going to say const not in channel list, and we're just going to say every, and we're going to say team. Actually, we want to loop through the channels, so dot channels. So every channel, the channel ID is not equal to ID. So if this is true for every single item in channels, that is, the channel's ID does not match the ID of the one we just got or created, that means it's not in the channel list. So if it's not in the channel list, we're going to push it on. So I'll get rid of this. Otherwise, we do nothing. So, oops. We only write to the store if this is the case. Okay, so here if it's not in channel list, then we're going to, instead of every, we're going to say push the ID, the name, DM is true. And you know what? We should really just pass a channel back. That makes the most sense. And now, you know what? We won't, because that'll make it more difficult. We'll just say DM is true. Okay, so we're getting the ID and the name. We're pushing it onto our list here. So now in our back end over here, we can't just return the name. Where is it? Up here, or the ID, I mean. We need to return both. So here, we'll just say channel data, and we'll return channel data. And what that'll be is the ID is equal to CID, and the name is equal to name. Actually, we already have the name of that. You know what? You don't even need to rework this. Oops. This bit can stay. We can just say ID is equal to channel ID and then the name, which we already have created. Good. So now we're passing that back. We need to update our schema as well. So this is going to be type DM channel response, and it's going to have an ID, which is an int, and a name, which is a string. So DM channel response. And now actually in our query over here, we have to actually select that we want this. So we want the ID and the name. Okay, but there's two cases, right? Either this happens, or coming up here, we find the channel ID, and right now we're only returning the channel ID. Let's also return channel.name. That way we have both of them, and we can just return the first element of data. But because how group by works, we're gonna have to group by also c.name, because you can only select the fields up here that are grouped by or that you use aggregation for. But this shouldn't change anything because our ID and name are unique. Or they're a unique pair, I mean, so we're good. And they're always going to match up to with the same ID here. So let's see this in action now. We'll refresh. And I'm going to open up my console to see if we get any kind of errors. So trying this with, for example, Bob2 should yield no changes over here. So we get Bob2 as the name and the ID is 3, and we don't see anything update over here. Perfect. But for example, if I saw Bob2 and Bob4, that should see an update over here. And we have a problem, so let's see what's going on. Okay guys, so I debugged that problem for a little bit longer, so I went ahead and cut the video, and I couldn't actually find what the root of the problem was, but I found a little workaround that seems to fix everything. So I just came over here to multi-select users, and I just set the default value for get team members to an array, because for whatever reason, just for a microsecond, get team members changes to undefined, and then it changes back to what it originally was. So I'm not sure why it does that, but this does fix it. So now if I go over here, I invite my guys to the team, I start messaging, I see them pop up here, and now if I open this again, I still see, can get rid of these, I still see stuff here, right? It's not broken anymore. So I'm not sure what caused that, but there you go. And I want to be resetting the form, so come over here. So instead of set submitting to false, we can just reset form. By default, reset form will cover setting submitting to false, so we can just reset form here, and this will also clear everything for us. So now when I invite someone, and oh, and also I wanted to, right now we have add channel for the header here, just change that to direct messaging. Direct messaging. Okay. Let that refresh. Now I want to come chat with Bob 2, Bob 3, start messaging, and awesome. Now, next thing I want to do is get the links working, because right now if I click on a link, it does not work how our channel links work. It actually takes us to direct messaging, and that breaks because we don't have it set up yet. Or we're not doing direct messaging right now. Okay, so that is going to be in our channels. Where are you, channels? Here you are. So we literally just need to copy how we do it for channels in our DM channels. So here we do /view team /team ID. We just need to get rid of user, and that should be good. So refresh. So click on that. We see our people we're chatting with here, and that looks good. So let's actually let's try chatting with these guys. Make sure that was work. So create an incognito, and I'm just going to log in as one of the Bobs. So log in, Bob at, let's do Bob3 at bob.com. Oops, there we go. Alright, so I'm currently in this team down here, and let's chat with these two users. Hey guys. Alright, so that's broken. Lovely. Actually, no, I think our just WebSocket broke. This is a problem I know about, actually. It says we're authenticated or not authenticated. I know about this error. This is something we may or may not fix in a little bit. Now WebSocket should work. Hey, yep, WebSockets works fine. It's just the first time if you're not authenticated. Okay, so hey dude, and we see it. We can chat back and forth, and now only these three users can see it. So if I were to log in as Bob4, for example, I should only see this one. Let's make sure that is the case. Bob4 at bob.com. Oops, 4. And sure enough, he only sees this one. And I need to refresh if I want to chat with him. Hey Bob. And we see it here. Hey man. Okay, so now we have group messaging and direct messaging working fine and very nicely, just using private channels as the backend. So we can get rid of this, and we can come over to our code base and just actually ravage it a little bit, because we don't need a lot of stuff now. I don't need this direct message container. Bye. Let's see, anything related to direct messages we don't need. I think that was the big one. Routes, we don't need direct messages page. Our index over here, we don't need direct messages. We don't need this route anymore. I don't know, there might be other stuff we could delete. The direct message modal we're going to keep. This is one of my favorite parts, when we refactor something and can just kill the code. Okay, this still looks good. And then our backend, we can just kill the direct message schema and the direct message resolvers, because we just straight don't need them anymore. So we just killed a ton of code, which is really nice because we didn't lose any functionality, right? This now works fine. And now this works even better, right? I can chat with up to more people. And I think there's one last thing we need to do to make this fully working. So let's say I'm on Bob 2 and Bob 3, and I come over here and I select all three, and I say start messaging. We should redirect to that page that we just, or the channel that we just created. So let's do that. So kind of like how in our channels over here, we are doing this. We can copy that. We're going to redirect just like that in our modal, direct message modal down here. So this is when I was talking about, we have a history prop in here, history. And once we reset the form, close this guy, we can now do history.push, and we'll push this on. So the ID here is the ID of our channel. So really we have to put this in our update function, because we don't know the ID of our channel until it's complete. Give that a save, and let's see this in action, see if that works. Okay, so Bob 2, Bob 3. I want to chat with all three of them now. Start messaging. Nope, does not work. So is it because we put the wrong ID up here? Refresh. No, it's not. Why does pushing this break it then, if it's the right ID? Alright, let's try that again. So let's move over to this channel and let's chat with all these guys, start messaging. And what is the problem? Is our ID? No. Okay, so view team cannot read property ID of undefined. Not sure what it's talking about. Can only update monitor usually when you call set state. I'm thinking we don't have to close, or maybe reset the form, because we're already changing the page and it'll do that by default. But that shouldn't be causing a problem. That should just cause the warning probably. So this is view team line 14. So let's see what we do there. That's literally just this. I'm just going to save this like so. Oh, it doesn't like that we commented. Oh, okay. I must be missing something. What about, let's just try a different one. Maybe it's just that one. Bob 2, Bob 3, start messaging. Nope, breaks on everything. So invalid checkbox, that's an error that I already know about. Cannot read property ID of undefined. That doesn't mean anything to me. There's not even an ID here. I'm guessing it's our data prop here. That's going to be view team. I'm guessing it's down here. So me query, we're running the me query every time, but that doesn't take any parameters. Right? Let's double check. Nope, no parameters whatsoever. Okay, I have no idea what is the problem with this. I'm going to stop the video here and I'll try debugging this, and we will at the beginning of the next video fix this. But for the most part, we have everything done with how we want to do direct channels, and I'll go ahead and comment this part out where we push, because everything else is working right now, and we'll get this guy working in the next video. But let's make sure we didn't break anything else. It should still work. Good. And then we can chat. Hey. Hey. Cool. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Sorry with all the problems we had. I was surprised. None of these things I thought we would have trouble with, but weird things are popping up. But thank you for watching, and as always, I'll push this up to GitHub if you want to check out the code.